Handed an open letter written to him by the son of President Jacob Zuma to his lawyers.
He's declined to speak further after Duduzane Zuma published the vitriolic letter yesterday. In it, he accused Gordhan of using state bodies like the Financial Intelligence Center and the Reserve Bank to try and destroy him. He also said that Gordhan was in bed with members of the private banking industry and had blocked a state bank and more competition.
Well, Duduzane Zuma is an associate of members of the Gupta family who were embroiled in verbal and legal battles with Gordhan during his tenure. Journalists who have analysed the so-called Gupta emails say that the leaked emails suggest that the president's son was courted by the Guptas to be a channel of influence. Among the leaks is what appears to be an email forwarded by Tony Gupta to Duduzane Zuma with the CV of Mosebenze Zwane attached in 2015.
Zwane was appointed South Africa's mining minister the following month. In the same year, the Sunday Times published a letter from Duduzane Zuma criticizing veteran editor Peter Bruce for implying that he was a commodity that was traded for favors. The leaked emails suggested that the letter was largely written by Nazim Hoa, who was then the head of the Gupta-owned company Oak Bay. In his letter yesterday, however, Duduzane Zuma says that there is no evidence of corruption, and he claims that a Hawks investigation came up with no wrongdoing.
All right, so is that true? Well, let's speak to Hawks spokesperson Hangwani Mulaudzi. He joins us on the line. Thank you, Brigadier. Is Duduzane Zuma off the hook? Is what he's saying correct, that you have cleared him and the Guptas of wrongdoing?
Good evening, and thank you for having me as well. Look, you would know by now that our resolve in terms of talking about investigations, we really do not go into detail regarding those. However, we would want to put it on record that it's unfortunate that the Hawks have been brought to public steps. And we, as a enforcement agency, we cannot be drawn into such matters pending the investigations that are still ongoing. At the same time, we are not a referee and a player. Our job is to do investigations, and if there is anyone who might be exonerated from such investigations, the NPA, they are the competent authority that can be able to make those pronouncements.
All right, so you can confirm that an investigation is ongoing?
Investigations, we have said it before, we are still committing ourselves even tonight, to say that there are investigations that are underway. You would know that we did make an announcement beginning of this year, even last year, to say that all these cases that talks to the state of capture that come from the public protector are being investigated. Even before the report itself was released, we had already started with the investigation. So those investigations are still continuing. We have a team that is looking at those cases. We have prosecutors that have been assigned by the NPA that are assisting us with the investigation. So as far as I know, I haven't had anything that talks to cases that have already been decided. What I know is that those investigations, if there are any decisions that need to be taken, those decisions will only be taken by the NPA.
All right, so then was the president's son lying when he said that he has been cleared by your policing unit, the Hawks?
Well, I think to say he was lying, I don't want to even venture into that. What I can only confirm is that investigations are ongoing. If there is any body from the DPCI or the Hawks who might have gone through or gone behind our backs and speak to the gentleman in terms of the investigations, of course, we will have to investigate those allegations and see if there are any corrective measures that must be taken. But as far as I know, there is a team, and that team, I did speak to them yesterday when we saw this thing now flying in the media space, in the public space, and they confirmed to me that they are not aware of such, and as such, if there is anything that investigation will only be able to know the real crux of everything once they've taken the docket to the NPA for a decision. All
right, so then he must be lying. Do you agree?
I don't want to get into that. I don't want to be drawn into such statements, madam, and I think it will be irresponsible for me to even venture because that is not my fight.
All right, Brigadier, South Africans hear about this huge cache of emails, the Gupta emails, and people are sitting waiting to hear when a full investigation will be done, when people may be charged. How seriously are you taking this? Because apparently the NPA cannot act, the prosecution authorities cannot act without a real investigation by the Hawks. Are the emails being taken seriously and investigated?
Look, let me put it to you straight now to say most of the issues that are being raised in those emails, they form part and parcel of this ongoing investigation. So, unfortunately, I can't get into details because that is not part and parcel of how we operate within the GPCI. So, for anyone to doubt that there is nothing that is being done, I don't think it will be correct. The fact of the matter is that we do not discuss our cases in the public space. They remain confidential. We are an organization that conforms itself to the human rights culture of this country. So we are not going to be held. We don't want to be drawn into issues into the public space. But the fact of the matter is that all the cases that have been brought to our attention, they are receiving serious attention. And like I said, these investigations are continuing. It's just unfortunate that I'm not in a position to tell you when most of these cases will be going to court because I'm not the investigator, but the investigation team is well committed. It's a task team of investigators that are well experienced, and they are working 24 hours to make sure that these cases finally they go to court.
All right, we understand that. There was some confusion, though, whether police are allowed to use emails that have been leaked to journalists. Can you clarify that issue, the legalities around it right now?
I'm not a legal expert, and I don't want to even get into that. They will be able to tell us whether these things can be used or not. So, unfortunately, I don't want us to even discuss those issues because they remain confidential as it is.
All right. Thank you so much for your time this evening, Brigadier Hangwani Mulaudzi.